car. To be honest, we did about 1 week's worth of sketches, and they were more or less just like a normal car with a little bit of electric. And they said, no, 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 this is not what we want. And then one of our managers on the board said, take your time. There's no deadline. There's no brief. Whatever you want it to be. And I thought it was actually a test. I thought it was actually like, because I'm in the position now, I thought it was almost like a job interview. So I was really paranoid, and I went to the designers and I picked the cherry picked the best designers we have. And I put them in a room and I said, guys and girls, we got to come up with something amazing. I said, our jobs are on the line. And I said, we need to come up with something that's really bold. And then, like I said, in 3 weeks, we did a pitch presentation to the same, board members. And as soon as we finished, the reaction was like, that's it, we're going to do it. People have anxiety about electric cars. They think about range anxiety, and we think about, where will I charge it? How long will it last? What's the longevity of this platform or this technology? At the time, that was the thinking behind it, and we thought well-being. And because it was 2023 when we came up with Avinya as an idea, post-pandemic, there was a lot of talk around mental health and anxiety and how people manage this. And we thought there's no car company that thinks about health and the health and well-being of a customer. So we thought, electrification, we thought about where we are, the times we live in, stress, and Avinya is a sanctuary. So when you get into the vehicle, it has to communicate calmness, it has to communicate well-being, stress reduction, and reassurance. When we were designing it, we were looking at what is the inspiration. So one of the things which is interesting is that it was inspired by a Riva powerboat, which is an Italian iconic boat, which is it's kind of a strange inspiration point for an SUV. But when we were describing this car, it was the power and the grace. Now, grace is not something you really think about when you think about SUVs, but I thought that was interesting. So we showed a lot of boat images to the management. When we were picking the design, we had a lot of proposals in the studio. This was a really probably a very proud moment for me, because it just shows the endless possibilities. It shows there's no limits to what you can do in terms of vision. We couldn't believe that this is now under a Tata Motors umbrella in terms of the capability and the scale of the car. Trying to think what another interesting part. The color. So the color is called Samudra. We haven't even mentioned that in any of the press releases, but it's inspired by the ocean. And that goes back to that sort of nautical boat-inspired inspiration. And the color was all about actually creating a color that's about recycling plastics in the ocean. And that's actually something that we're really working on to develop into production. The eco-responsible, sustainable story is super important for Avinya. And it's something that we're really working on, not only from the exterior color point of view, but also from an interior materials point of view. Eventually, we really want to have this sort of recycled aspect. It has to be part of the story for it. And the other final thing was, you'll notice that the rear door doesn't have a handle. Actually, originally the design had a handle like the front door, but our designers are really OCD. And they just didn't like it. So they were constantly, when they presented it without the door handle. And I kept asking, I said, where is the door handle? They said, oh, it looks too busy and stuff like that. And finally, there's a button. You can see there's two little arrows, on the B-pillar. And we realized that actually the person who's going to be using this car, especially in India, will be probably chauffeured, and they'll have the door open to them. So the idea was that you either open the door with your phone, or your chauffeur will open it for them. So those are some of the ideas and the aspects behind it. Avinya research process is a little bit different, because I don't want the designers to think like car designers. I want them to think like social engineers. in many ways. You have to do a lot of trend research. You have to go a little bit outside the comfort zone. I don't want it to be a traditional car company, you know, in the classic sense. Like I said, well-being is a big part of the design thinking. So people have to immerse themselves in, you know, sort of sanctuary thinking in terms of like peace of mind, whether it's reading material, whether it's, you know, going on experiences, going for a hike, you know, in the countryside. You know, what does that stimulate? That's not your normal car design type experience. So of course, you know, in the end, you're still designing a vehicle on 4 wheels, but ultimately it's all about really a state of mind. And what we've done is we've actually separated the Avinya design team from the rest of the Tata Motors. So we have a dedicated design studio which has a team that just thinks, breathes, and you know, has that mindset, if you want to call it that. Many customers will just see it at what it is. You know, here with the Avinya X, it's an SUV, and people might just buy it for that. But once they experience it, they'll realize that it is a sanctuary. When you get inside the vehicle, it'll be a peace of mind. It's a state of mind, because it's really surreal in a way. Like, you know, like I mentioned, when you see the car, you think like, wow, I can't believe we're doing something on this scale, size, sophistication, but at the same time, almost like having that license, free license. I mean, in many ways, the management of the company is allowing design almost free rein to define what the product is, what the brand is, and that's very unique. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, is to build a brand and to create something that's really like unique, that stands out and is aspirational. So it's a kind of dream project for myself and the design team. You have to always, you know, remind yourself how lucky you are to have that opportunity.